Hey guys, it's Jeff from Team Flyfag here, just doing another deck profile. I know it's been a while, but I just wanted to show what I've been cooking on the past month or so, and I've won a couple of locals with this deck. So this is my Frog Stun deck, and let's get into it. So play the frogs, so triple swap, triple dupe, triple substitute, one unifrog and two treeborn frogs. So that's the frog package there. I am using a hero package, so one dasher, Stratos and Ocean. I have some battle stoppers, so two battle faders and a Gorse. One Jinzo, which is an MVP of the deck. And two Sea Hunters, which is also an MVP of the deck. Play Junk, Dandelion, and Triple Caius. So that's the monster lineup. Now I'll just get into these spells and traps. So they're pretty straightforward, to be honest. So 1-for-1 Burial, Future Fusion, Brain Control, Enemy Controller, Soul Exchange, Pot Avarice, Salvage, Reinforcements of the Army, Miracle, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon, and two Raigeki Breaks. So that's the spell and trap lineup. And as for the extra deck, we've just got Chimera Attack, Sub Dragons in the side, two Ab Zeros, one Gaia, Black Rose, AFD, Stardust, Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler, Bryonak, Goyo, Urkiza, Android, Catastor, and Armory. So that's the main deck there. Speed run through that. So for those that were just interested in a deck profile there. But now going back to the reason for the deck. So the reason why I built this deck is because of Sea Hunter. This card's quite interesting and from a floodgate or stun perspective. So how this card works is when this battles, so it doesn't matter if it's attacking or being attacked, as long as you've got another water face up on the field, its effect is after damage calculation, which is the post calculation after working out who has the higher attack and defense and such. This effect will become live with whatever it battles, and it just kind of blanks it out. It just says, okay, whatever effect you think you have no longer applies. And that includes the graveyard as well. So for the most part, the reason why I play this card is just, it seems pretty obvious. So stuff like Raikou and such, to get rid of those effects. Any sort of recruiters like Shining Angel, Pyramid Turtle and such, those get blanked out as well. The interaction that feels like it shouldn't come up, but it's how it's worded, is cards like Absolute Zero or Stardust, for example. If I attack and battle with it, it's going to be blanked, so they can still attempt to trigger their effects, but nothing will happen. So that's the main reason, because it adds actually heavily problem cards, but yeah, and most of the time with the condition of the water, it's usually just the treeborn frog. The other thing that's really cool about it is the effect to keep it alive on destruction. It actually happens in the next sub-step of the damage step, so then you can just sack this, or for people that don't know, this actually doesn't need to win the battle. So if I attack it and let it die, its effect's still applied. So it's very unique in that way that I can just blink a monster and just sort of crash into it with it doing its job. So that's kind of the main reason that I'm playing this card and trying to centralize around this card. The other card I think that's MVP is the main deck Jinzo. So playing into the decks that do utilize either heavy back row or even a moderate amount of back row, some of them can out a lot of the problems that I have with my board, especially if I'm establishing dupe block and I'm trying to get a little tempo going with some of the attacking monsters, including Armsea Hunted. A lot of my opponents don't see that as soon as I drop Jinzo, they realize that their back row becomes useless, and then I slowly just increment additional advantage. So it's quite unique in that way. Now, even though that I do have like the hero package, as you saw earlier, I am running the Future Fusion and Miracle. Now the Miracle is kind of there as attack. To me, it's kind of like similar as Junk Synchron, in a way that it could either win more or it could catch me up. So that's purely the reason why it's there. The main reason I'm running this hero package is both for the Foolish and the Future Fusion routes, to be able to dump stuff like the Treeboard Frog and the Dandelion to get those tokens to allow me to abuse Substitute and just go off through that. The routes to be able to establish dupe block is quite insane, and honestly, being able to get dupe block up out at multiple stages of the game is just so satisfying, especially against the opponent. Now, going back to the e-hero side of things, playing Dasher instead of, say, like Prodigy or a different hero. Honestly, I was looking at lists around just to see what would be a decent package, and Dasher with the Graveyard effect can come up, and it's just kind of nice to be able to do something like that. So, say I reveal a Substitute, I can just drop it, and then the Treeborn comes out, and then my combo is already established there. So I haven't used any of my normal summons, and I can just go off, which is quite insane. And the other reason for the Dasher, honestly, being able to get Jinzo out for free, and then suddenly their traps are turned off, is just ludicrous. Like, it's just crazy that this is available to me. But yeah, so that's kind of the reasons for the deck. Being able to, the card choices in this list are just quite insane. Sorry, there was the side deck, but I'm not comfortable with how the list is at the moment. The fact that I can soul exchange my opponent's cards to be able to benefit myself. Losing a turn of battling is kind of irrelevant, because once I've established board presence and established the problems that my opponent has to face, I can just sit behind it and just slowly poke, or just go full aggro. So I create the tempo and I create the problems for my opponent, and yeah, it's just a matter of them coming back or trying to somehow either overuse of their own resources in order to catch up, while I get to kind of just sit back and just let things play out as is. Personally, I don't know how I feel about enemy controller. I think, like, it just comes up, but personally I actually dislike this card. Everything else is pretty straightforward in terms of the deck. Like, I honestly, all I'm seeing is just good cards, and like it's very difficult to necessarily brick on cards, just because, like, for example, the reason why I'm running 3 dupes is not because that I get to establish dupe lock multiple times, but being able to just get an access to Swap Frog outside of Substitute or hard drawing it is just also so safe. It just allows me to get my engine going, and I think that it's imperative that you do so, that you're not necessarily bricking on just other cards like multiple Miracle Fusions, or having to play particular routes where you're just consistently discarding cards. But this deck is a work in progress, and I'm probably going to continue developing this to a standard where I'm comfortable, where I might consider this to be my YCS contender, but we'll see from there. Anyway, I hope you guys like the deck profile, and if you did, I do wish that you do like and subscribe, and if there's any comments that you have about the deck, please make that below. Otherwise, thanks again. Bye.